So as a kid, my parents always told me, do anything but be involved in production agriculture. You're gonna work like a dog, you're not gonna get paid very much. And so they encouraged me to spread my wings and go elsewhere. And so in college, I lived in Washington, D.C., and Minneapolis, and Denver, and Argentina. I mean, I traveled a lot. And I moved into the dorm rooms at George Washington University, and my roommate was just wildly different than me. She was a vegan animal rights activist from New Jersey. And our lives growing up as kids couldn't have been further apart. I mean, she lived in a big city where there was museums and art and coffee shops on every corner, and I lived in the middle of South Dakota where the cattle outnumber people 4-to-1. And so over the course of the summer, we had a lot of really hard heart-to-hearts. We realized we cared about the same things. We cared about food safety and nutrition and whether the food tasted good. We cared about animal welfare and the environment. Those misconceptions or concerns cleared away because she had met a farmer for the first time and was able to ask the hard questions, and she trusted me because we had gotten to know each other and build that relationship. Two things after that experience. I knew that my heart was in production agriculture, that I needed to be back on the farm. And two, no one was out there sharing our story. And so for me, when I'm out there traveling and sharing our story, I'm sharing it for my dad and my mom and my grandparents and all my friends and neighbors and the people I love in agriculture that are just often overlooked and misunderstood. Hi, my name is Amanda Radke. My husband Tyler and I own Radke Land and Cattle north of Mitchell, South Dakota. We have 4 children, ages 9, 7, 6, and 5. And as a career, I travel the country speaking to agricultural groups and reading my children's books to teach kids about farm life. So when I'm speaking, I always tell my producer groups, farmers and ranchers that I speak to, I never ask them to agree with everything I say, but what I ask them to do is just to think critically and to look at the challenges that we face in agriculture, the regulations that are coming down the pike that make it harder for us to be in business, the misconceptions that exist. And I remind them that nobody is going to fight harder for your future in agriculture than you, meaning we all have to get involved, we all have to find our own sphere of influence and use our time, talent, and treasures to reach people outside of our own pasture gates. So that's why I started my podcast, The Heart of Rural America, because I meet so many wonderful people across the country when I'm traveling that are doing great things for their families and their communities and in agriculture to feed people. And I truly feel once people get to know them and get to see their hearts and their intentions and who they are and not just what they do, they'll feel a part of the agriculture community, they'll feel more connected to their food, and we can start building those relationships. So I started writing books in 2011. I teamed up with a gal named Michelle Weber, who's a farmer and rancher from Minnesota with 5 kids. We went to college together and she liked to paint, and so she's illustrated all of my books. Every book that we've written kind of focuses on a different theme. So environmental stewardship or animal welfare. We're trying to show kids how we are stewards and how we do take care of the animals. Oftentimes, I'm the first farmer or rancher these kids have ever met, and now what's even more fun is getting to take the 4 kids on the road with me. And I have found that instead of being the adult talking about agriculture, my kids are so much more effective at telling the story because it's one kid to another kid, just sharing the story. And that's a lot of fun because we'll do high school events and these kids, these teenagers are asking this little 8, 9-year-old questions, and they just think it's unreal and unbelievable that this little kid would know so much about, ranch life and agriculture. So it's a lot of fun and very rewarding for us too. At the end of the day, I wish people would know, and I would love people to know that in addition to loving the livestock and loving raising our kids on the land, we're truly passionate about being stewards of the land. And so we take great pride in taking care of the pastures and the fields that we're stewards of being responsible with the land, of grazing responsibly. We do things like rotational grazing, where we will move the cattle from one paddock to another to graze the grass down and then let the grass grow and rest. Cattle to me are just a part of a big cycle, and it's exciting and probably boring to some people, but it's a passion of ours to take care of the land and to see it get better with each passing year.